Heather Vale.
And I'm Dr. Steve G. Jones.
And joining us today is Bob Doyle, one of the featured teachers in The Secret, which is
title.
about the law of attraction. And also Bob was known previously as the creator of Wealth Beyond Reason, which is the topic that we're going to talk about today, wealth.
Beyond reason.
Yeah, well, explain, what exactly is wealth beyond reason?
So that is my law of attraction curriculum, and I named it that, and the beyond reason was I was being clever.
Okay.
Right? So it's unreasonable how much you can attract, if you understand these principles. Wealth beyond reason, that's it. And you have to suspend a little bit of reason. You had to kind of go beyond reason to really integrate some of these principles, because law of attraction conversation in today's society isn't basically considered reasonable. It's like it seems fringe, or it seems new age, or whatever.
Yeah.
So my work became about demystifying that, taking the woo out of it, so getting beyond all of that. So that's where that came from.
And I think reason implies excuses. If you have reasons for being poor, you have excuses.
I had
Okay.
never once thought of that, but
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is like I want to relaunch the program now with that. No, you're right. That's good.
Yeah. Okay, so people always want to know how to attract more money. And let's start with talking about wealth as money, although, as we know, wealth can mean a lot more.
Yeah.
But if someone wants more wealth, more prosperity, more abundance in their life, how do they go about attracting that?
So I really firmly believe that you're compensated for the value you give out. Okay? And we can give out our value in so many different ways. I'm an entrepreneur, right? As we all are. And I really believe everybody has that in them, or so many people do. They have something of value. They don't know about business. That's all. But if they were able to share their value, their unique gifts with the world, they could be compensated for it and really make a great living doing exactly what they love. Law of attraction isn't about making money appear out of nowhere. The Secret talks about, checks, the unexpected checks and things like that, right?
There's a reason someone's sending you that check.
Yeah, it's, because remember you applied for the rebate.
You sent an invoice to your client, do you remember?
Right. Now sometimes the timing of it can be really cool and synchronous, but it isn't magic. None of this is magic. It's about vibration, alignment, energy, and all of those different things. So we're not trying to create, to do a magic trick. We're not. But to attract real wealth that's going to be sustainable, we have to know our own value. We have to be able to know that we are valuable, that we deserve wealth or whatever. Because we all hear about the lottery winners, right? They win this ton of money and then it's gone.
Yeah.
Right? They're not in alignment with that amount of money. Now they were able to manifest the win because they probably, however they did it, but the vision, who they are, has not adjusted to that yet. And so all their stuff comes up and they can't get rid of it fast enough. Even though they don't want to consciously, they are not energetically ready for that amount of money. But even if it's not a lottery win type of money, it could be any amount, wherever, it's outside of your comfort zone. When people think about attracting wealth, they probably are also, a lot of times they're in a place where they don't feel wealthy, and they think of wealth as getting rich, like more money that they know what to do with. Which, you can understand why they want that, because if they've lived in poverty or whatever, well, if I just had all the money, then I'd be happy and I'd have all this.
Solve all my problems.
Right, and I know that for a fact that is not true. Money does not make you happy. It does not make you happy. It doesn't. It can definitely relieve stress, right?
Yeah.
It can give you a smile. It can provide you with the opportunity to do a lot of things that make you happy, but it's not the money, right? It's what is your life becoming as a result of this. So then we get back to this whole idea of what's your vision? How much money do you really need to live the life that you truly want, to feel wealthy and abundant? There's not a set dollar amount. $1 million isn't the wealth dollar, because there's plenty of people who that wouldn't help them at all. There's plenty, they need more to do the work that they're here to do. So what do you really want your life to be, and be clear on that, and get rid of resistance and the limiting beliefs, and then let it show up, and you'll be supported. And if you want to feel abundant, like really abundant, that can happen. But getting attached to a dollar amount, like I'm not going to feel abundant until I get the $1 million, that's just all sorts of resistance.
Okay.
That's all kinds of conditions. That's all based on limited thinking, which is a real energy which is repelling actual abundance.
So what should they focus on rather than a dollar amount?
Yeah.
And I don't think you're going to tell them to focus on an item, a material item
No.
either. So what should they focus on?
Well, I mean, material items can be part of their overall vision. Again, I'm all about creating the overall vision of your life, like really taking the time to craft that. What do your relationships look like? What's your day look like? What are you doing? Who are you, again? Who are you in this vision? Not just, you're not watching just a movie, you're in it, right? So who are you in this? And really focus on that, because really I have a thing that I do with all of my clients before we even move to step 2. They must have a vision where they can answer the question, why must I do this? Okay, that can take a while, because when you hit that, it's going to be an emotional thing. They're going to feel it. They may get a little tear, or they may burst out laughing, or whatever it is. But that's because now they understand that it's why they're here, and they're going to understand the impact that they're going to have on the world, or whatever. Why must I do this? Because there's an answer, because if I don't, I'm going to freaking die. Like, that was what motivated me. The 2 biggest decisions that got me into action, or the 2 action steps that I resisted taking, were quitting my corporate job back in 2002, and then leaving a 24-year marriage, right? But both times I had to be pushed to the very limits of, like, it wasn't enough to decide that this isn't right, I'm going to leave. I had way too much fear. But it got to where, like, if I don't make this move, I'm gonna die. Like, I just felt like I was dying. No, you don't have to get to that. And I do.
Yeah,
not.
I was gonna say that's kind of a dangerous point.
Don't
do anything unless you're gonna die.
No, I use that as an example, always hesitantly, but for some people, like for me, I needed that, and as a teacher, I can now basically use that part of my story, like it got so bad that, but absolutely it doesn't have to be that way.
But you did mention comfort zone, and that's the problem. The very definition of the term comfort zone, it's very nice feeling. It's a happy place.
And it's also that, like they say, the hand that you hold is the hand that holds you down. Sometimes you realize you're being held down, but it's a comfortable hand, it's a known hand.
Yeah.
It's always going to be there.
So how do people move out of that place that by definition feels good?
How the heck did you do it, Bob?
Well, again,
he took it too far.
But in essence, despite how what was going on with me, I was able to answer the question, why must I do this? Okay. So for some people, it's not because I'm going to die. It's because I need to save these puppies. Because I need, because I want my kids to whatever, or I want, but it's something that's really, really deep and passionate. That's what will move you through your comfort zone. Because once you see that this is way bigger than a comfort zone, this is way bigger than my little limiting beliefs. I'm going to do whatever I have to do to get there. When you say, why must I do this, you become way more unstoppable. Okay? And with a knowledge of the law of attraction and releasing resistance, you can actually get there in a pretty efficient way. Because even if you can answer the question, why must I do this, if you've still got all your limiting beliefs and things like that, it's not that you won't get there, it's just probably going to be not very efficient. You're going to try all kinds of things, you're going to come up with a bunch of stuff, it's going to be a little bit harder. So that's why I think it's the perfect blend to know these principles. I've never suggested that you have to know the law of attraction to be successful, because there's plenty of people who don't, but they had vision, and they didn't have resistance in certain areas, and they were willing to take whatever action it took to get there, because they could answer, why must I do this? Some people, they can answer, why must I do this, but they need more.
Okay. So if we take something, like just as a metaphor, something like stop smoking, there's 2 types of people. There's the cold turkey people, there's like it's all or nothing, and there's the slowly wean it off people. You're kind of like a cold turkey person when it comes to getting out of the comfort zone.
I can't wean.
So the people that want to wean themselves out of their comfort zone, is it a matter of like taking it step by step, like, okay, now I'm making $50,000 a year, let's see what $60,000 feels like.
Yeah, I would think, little milestones like that they can celebrate,
right.
And you must celebrate those things. That's one of the things that with any client or anybody is when you're up to something, when you're moving towards a vision, and you're taking all this action, sometimes you're not even aware of what's happening. You don't realize that there's things in motion because it hasn't happened yet, or there's not some big, like, oh, hooray. But at the end of every day, you should really assess what happened today. What action did I, even if you took a little action, that's more than so many people do. Any little baby step is a giant step in my mind, because it's more than most people do.
Yeah.
So celebrate every win. And even a loss, be grateful for what you learned from something that didn't work, but really you're celebrating that you're doing it.
Right.
You know, you're actually doing it. You are in the process, and you're not letting anything stop you.
Okay.
So little incremental rewards along the way.
Yeah, and
spending some of the money that you make, rewarding yourself.
Yeah, whatever works for you that won't send you going backwards. Like if you're trying to attract, if you got a big debt problem or a big spending problem and you're trying to get past that, then spending money to celebrate probably isn't a good idea. Like
that's something
eating because I lost 5 pounds, I get to have a cake. You know, that's.
But people teach that. People say, "Oh, well, you have to act as if," and they interpret that as you need to spend money you don't have because if you had the money, you would spend it.
Yeah, that's a great.
It's a great way to go into debt.
It is. But, well, and I'll tell you what I really, from a law of attraction point of view, is the people who do that, they don't really buy it.
Okay.
It's not a real. They're just testing the universe out. It's like the whole slippery slope here with what I'm saying, but. Tithing and giving was a real big part of my conversation early on, and so there's this whole idea that if you tithe, the universe will tenfold, tenfold, whatever. So
I gave $100 to the church, therefore I'm getting $1,000.
Right,
next
that's
week
right.
With unexpected checks.
Right, unexpected checks. Right, they're rebate. So yeah, but a lot of people then test that. They're like, oh, I'm going to test this. Well, that whole energy of testing is really just doubt that it's going to happen.
Right.
You know, there's a certain amount of they use the word expectation a lot. Give this and expect it, but it's not. You have to be careful with that word. Mm-hmm. It's not like, well,
right.
Come on, I expect that money. It's just a knowing that through the giving you will be compensated in some way.
Right.
In probably an exponential way. It may not be if you give $10 that you get money back, but you may get some other sort of value back.
Right. Okay.
As a result of that give. It may be directly as a result, or it may be something more, cosmic. But in any case, I mean, if you go into that kind of thing as you're testing it, then it's not really pure.
And just to be clear, if the emotion is doubt, then that's what you're attracting back.
Yeah.
More doubt, more reason to be doubtful.
Exactly, evidence.
Yeah.
Evidence. That's the irony of the people who want to disprove the law of attraction is that most of the time they're actually proving it.
Right.
They're actually proving with
but
what
they
they're
see
saying.
it as disproving it.
That's right, and so that's a cycle that just continues.
Yeah. Interesting.
How about some tips for entrepreneurs?
Just like in life. If you can be yourself in your business, I always think, for me, I love the fact that my business is an extension of me, and when it stopped being that, it stopped being fun. Mm-hmm. Like after The Secret came out, like up until The Secret, I really did it my way. And things were growing great. And then The Secret gave me this huge boost for obvious reasons. But what happened for me is that, I must be a real business now. Right. And now I need to do it this way and this way, like these guys. That wrecked it for the longest time because it was no longer an extension of me. It was like I'm now doing these tactics and strategies and stuff. I'm still the face. I'm still saying almost the same stuff, but I'm not playing with it like I used to. It became a much more serious business. So, and that's an energy that didn't work for me. So being yourself in business, an entrepreneur, I mean, if you're an entrepreneur, that's truly a personal thing. That business is an extension of you. And the more that you can continue to stay in that space and not let anything pull you from that would be my biggest advice. Because again, the more authentic you are, the more real you are, the more the people who will come in and help support you in your business, your employees, any joint venture people that you work with, are going to be way more appropriate than the people who you attract by trying to dazzle them with stuff that has nothing to do with really who you are, what your vision is. Look at these numbers, blah, 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 blah. And I had that happen really, really bad. Like I partnered with somebody in 2008, huge list in the industry, mm-hmm. but the energy was totally not a match, but I did it anyway because they got such a huge list, this is gonna be great. And it was such a huge backfire.
It's all about the size.
It was such a horrible mistake, and that's one I have not made since then. But that was a real big learning lesson for me about making sure that this business, that I'm really expressing what my vision is and who I am through it. Because then it's more fun, I'll do it better, the work will be better, more customer, it just works way better that way. If you're not compromising yourself in your business. That's my experience.
Right. Well, the challenge with a lot of entrepreneurs is they feel drawn to be an entrepreneur, but they have trouble sorting out exactly what they should be doing. And I put that in quotes because I don't like to shit on people. But, they haven't found their passion, they haven't found their purpose.
Yeah.
What process can they go through to find out?
So that's the first thing I do with my coaching clients, is to get clear on that, because a lot of people put a lot of pressure on themselves. What's my passion? Because they've heard how important it is, right? And
So they want to make money, then they try to figure out what their passion is real quick.
yeah, and but they don't, or they take no action because they don't think they've got it quite right.
Right.
I think this might be my passion, but I'm not really sure. And what I'm saying is, look, what do you enjoy? Let's relax around this whole thing. Let's just shake it off. What do you enjoy doing? Why do you enjoy it? What are the aspects of this that you enjoy the most? And it doesn't have to be a business-related thing. It could be fishing. It could be drawing, But getting to the essence of, well, what is it about that brings you to life, Then we can sort of find a pattern about like what their core values are.
Okay.
And then then they start, their lights come on for themselves. They start to see the connection. Now that's something that you have to guide them through. That's a great coaching thing. Because they don't connect the dots that way. They don't know how to ask themselves those questions to really get to that aha moment, because they stop themselves, they analyze, they evaluate, they go, this won't make me money, and they stop right there. Like, I can't figure out how what I love to do will make me money, and so they go, well, that must not be it.
Right.
And that's just totally not it at all. It just needs more development. It needs extrapolation. It needs some creative thinking. It needs advice from people who have done it. Like, learn from those who have done it before. So find somebody who's doing something that, like, the internet's so great because everything's for sale and people are there's somebody doing almost everything well to an extent. And no matter how fringe or crazy your idea is or how small you think it is, I guarantee you can find somebody out there who's doing very well at it, which means it's possible, which means your passion can be profitable. There is learning to do, but it can be so daunting. Well, I don't know how to do all this stuff. That's fine. There's people who do. So it's really about the more that you can communicate what you're passionate about, the more you're going to attract people who want to support you, who love to do the stuff you hate to do. That's how you can attract just the right team and all of those things. So, but people have to be kind of told that, because if they've had no business education or whatever, they don't know anything like that. They just figure, well, if I can't do it all, then it's not going to happen. It's not a part of I'm just going to be an employee.
And it's interesting, like when I got into hypnosis, I just got into it because it was fun for me and I liked it a lot, and I never intended to make any money, and I never knew you could make any money.
Mm-hmm.
I just started to make money doing it. But people see me at this point and they want to come in at that level.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes money, I should do that. And that's not really a good model to follow.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to help you attract the people you want. You have to do something that you really feel. And then, as you said, the people just come to you, and that's the way it worked for me, and that's probably the way it worked for you.
Totally. I was so freaking grounded and real when I started. Mm-hmm. Just really, it was a really personal. My sharing, my teaching was really based on my recent personal experience. Like
Mm-hmm.
I didn't represent myself as anything that I wasn't. But I did step into being very powerfully. I knew my vision was for myself was I want to be a powerful communicator of these principles to willing, open minds. I want to have a business that I enjoy at home doing this. Mm-hmm. And I stepped into that's who I am. But I also am Bob Doyle, and I'm also real, and I'm also curious, and all of that. And I don't know everything. That's why I interview so many people. That's why my program has interviews with all of these people, because that was how I learned.
Right.
So I get to learn and share and turn around, and I could go on and on about this, because people think, well, I don't have I love this stuff, but I don't have the expertise, so how can I, build a business? Well, we all know that all you have to do is go find experts, interview them, you got a product, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And as you do that, you learn more. I became an expert from two things: interviewing people and owning that I'm an expert. Mm-hmm. And what I believe that did was it opened me up to these, people, we use the word downloads, right? Like, I don't know where this is coming from, but I know it's true.
Yeah.
And when I communicate it, people say yes, right? And so I just trust that. You just kind of become a channel for, insights and all of that. At least that's what happened for me, because I didn't say, one day I'm going to be, like Joe Vitale or whatever. I put myself right up there. Like, I'm just as qualified to teach. He knows a little bit more about this, but this is what I know, and I learned a ton about marketing from him and things like that. But there are things that he would teach that I wouldn't, and vice versa. Mm-hmm. But because we're different people, and it's okay. So you don't want to compare yourself with others either. Just really own your unique, what you bring to it. and that's how you find just the right audience, and then
The
customers
only-
for life.
The only stumbling block with this is, like Steve mentioned, he didn't know he could make money doing hypnosis, he just loved it. Turns out that hypnosis is very profitable.
Yeah.
Someone might be really passionate about building custom crocheted bee houses, just as a random thing. Now, there's a whole subset of internet marketing experts who will teach, no, forget about what you love, because what you love isn't necessarily going to
Right.
make you money. I call it the profit versus passion camp. There's the people who teach your passion, follow what you love, and the people that teach, no, profit, do the market research, find out what the people want.
Yeah.
There's got to be some balance, obviously, but what if someone does have a passion that they really, really want to make this work, and then it just turns out that they can't find that audience?
They're like, there isn't a market for the crochet,
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's a few things that I would tell them. I would have a conversation with them. Again, it's sort of what we talked about before. What is it about crocheting these things that you really love? Because maybe that passion can be expanded to something else. Maybe she could teach doing that. Now that's a marketable thing, you know. Besides, what's she going to do? Knit 1,000 of these things? I mean, that's, you know, that, and artists who do that stuff, they are limited, right?
Many artists believe that it's only about creating for themselves, which, I mean, I don't understand. If you're creating something beautiful, why wouldn't you want people to see it? But they're
Yeah.
like, no, I only create music for myself. I only create paintings for myself.
Right. Well, then I would say, but if they're also telling me, but I want to make money, I'd be
Right.
like, okay, well, then obviously there's a disconnect here. Let's explore that.
Okay.
Where did that belief come from? Why is it only for yourself? Like for me, because I'm a musician too, but until the ukulele came along, I basically hid, you know, certainly never performed for people. I would put music out when I was done with it and felt like it was perfect for me. But it's that judgment thing. Well, you know, I don't want to share it with people. I do it for me is another way of saying because I don't think people will like it.
Right.
Or I don't want to be judged for it.
Yeah.
All of that. And all of that comes with stuff. You know, well, where'd the judgment come from? Where'd that start? What did your second grade teacher say to you about your art that has this? So we can shift that kind of stuff. So if people are really like saying, I want to make money doing this, but I don't want to share it, well, okay, then you don't want to make money doing this yet.
Yeah.
You know, because what's going to happen, you know? So, but that's all through conversation, we can get to that,
Yeah.
you know? So if a person truly, that's what they love to do, with a conversation, I'll bet you I could come up with 4 or 5 different ways they could make money doing that, but that's not the only way that they're generating revenue. There's probably, with their skill set of crocheting these birdhouses, there's probably other things that they
Bee
can...
houses.
Bee houses, right. I knew it was something weirder than that.
You made it sound ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's very grounded.
I go for the most ridiculous example I can think of, yeah.
But basically, they probably have other skill sets too that are even more marketable than selling these 1-by-1 bee houses.
Okay. All right, so if people want to have that discussion with you and have you as their coach.
If you like making crochet bee houses and would like to generate multiple streams of revenue, well, I love to talk to people about that. I love that discovery conversation because they come in not knowing and then they leave with like, oh my God, you know. So boundlesslivingcoaching.com will put them in touch with me. They can fill out a short little thing. It's basically just to tell me what they want, what they're up to, where they're stopped, and then scheduling. Well, when do you want to have a conversation? That's a no. That doesn't cost anything. That's just like let's see what this is about. It's not just it's really about, that conversation is about having them walk away with actionable items and some ahas, right?
Yeah.
And then we can talk about what to do after that, but they will get something out of that call, just besides just a conversation.
You'll get to talk to one of the most authentic people who I've ever met, and I really mean that. I mean,
Thank
you just ooze authenticity, like keep it real, and you're getting authenticity all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah, pass
Love
them
it.
on to Steve. He can.
Yeah. I need more. Send more this way. Yes. Hello.
Anyway.
I'm Steve Jones.
Bob, it's been a blast. Thank you so much for being here and sharing with us.
It's been my pleasure. Thanks.
I'm Heather Vale,
And I'm Dr. Steve G. Jones.
helping you heat up your success at hotsuccesssecrets.com.